Another outburst like that, I will have the bailiff clear the chamber, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, let's be honest. Don't you miss watching the hearings? Oh, isn't TV boring now? It is boring. I do miss it. You know what I thought was the strangest thing about watching the hearings? I think it's the first time Americans have seen that many senators sitting at that long a table without a bartender on the other end. Really? And, as I'm sure you all know by now, Judge Clarence Thomas is a Supreme Court justice. Now, whether you think he's fit to sit on the Supreme Court or not, not the issue. But one thing we know for certain, he sure won't be doing any commercials for Coca-Cola, huh? Gosh, I don't think you'll be seeing him holding that can up. Sorry, Bob. Yeah, no. But the whole thing was quite an ordeal. Well, in fact, you know, Clarence Thomas said he lost 15 pounds during the confirmation hearing. He lost 15 pounds. Boy, maybe Bush ought to nominate Senator Heflin to the Supreme Court, huh? Boy. And I'll tell you something else. You put a cheap suit and a bad wig on that 4,000-year-old Iceman they dug up last month, and you got Senator Strom Thurmond. Boy. My favorite, Senator Orrin Hatch. Remember him? Senator Hatch? Oh, he said he was shocked. Shocked at the language that he heard. Shocked. Do you really think it was shocked? I mean, let's face it. Any group that bounces checks and walks out on tabs in restaurants must hear that kind of language all the time. Don't you think so? I'll tell you one thing. I do have to agree with Senator Hatch that the language was pretty raw. In fact, the White House said that the testimony on TV at one point was so graphic that President Bush had to send Dan Quayle out of the room. And this is in the paper today. The head of the House Ethics Committee said he was going to be looking into the check bouncing scandal with a microscope. Well, that makes sense to me. I mean, if you're going to be examining the ethics of Congress, a microscope is pretty much what you're going to need, isn't it? Let's be honest. Oh, gosh. And as I'm sure you know by now, Jimmy Swaggart caught with a prostitute last week. Well, there go his chances for the Supreme Court. Well, I guess he won't get nominated now either. You know, I really don't feel sorry for Swaggart. You know, there's an old saying, you get caught, you pay for it. See, that's Swaggart's trouble. Every time he pays for it, he gets caught. See, that's the trouble. That's the trouble. If you saw the news last night, you see what Jimmy Swaggart said? He said he's going to step down temporarily. I think it's a good idea. You know, I think you should just take a vacation. You know, go to California, take a drive in the desert, clear your head, you know, meet some new people, you know. Do you know what happened? Apparently Jimmy Swaggart had a prostitute in the car when he was stopped driving through the desert. And when the policeman pulled him over, he was ticketed for not wearing a seatbelt. That's true, he was not wearing a seatbelt. But in his defense, he was wearing a condom, ladies and gentlemen. So you gotta give him credit, certainly, for that. You know what I thought was interesting? On CNN, this is true. When he was caught, CNN reported that the woman claimed to be a prostitute. Now, why would someone claim to be a prostitute, huh? You think she was just putting on airs to show off for her friends, you know? Oh, I'll bet she's not really a prostitute at all. Just trying to impress people. Actually, here's Swaggart's excuse. He told the policeman he claimed he was just giving the prostitute a ride to Geraldo's house. Yeah. Well, enough about that. Move on to international news. Japan has a new prime minister. Do you know that? It's tricky to pronounce his name, so I'll just say he has a new prime minister there. But he said he expects no significant changes in his relationship with the United States. The rent will be due first of the month, same as always. No changes there. And it finally happened. Now, this is a story they've been talking about for months. You know about this? This South Dakota grandmother that gave birth to her own twin daughters. You see that in People magazine? Was that unbelievable? I mean, isn't science amazing? To think we have reached the point where you can now drop the kids off at Grandma's house before they're even born. That's unbelievable. Here you go, Grandma. They're all yours. Good luck. And last but not least, there's a new unauthorized biography of Madonna out now. Everybody read it? It's called Madonna Revealed. And in the book, the author promises to show us a side of Madonna we've never seen before. What side have we not seen of this woman, huh? What are they dragging out CAT scan photos of her now, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, we got a good show. Jodie Foster is here. Fine group. Hey. Some of those early tax refunds, I guess, huh? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty excited, you know? I finally got me one of those fancy Beverly Hills accountants. Boy, this guy is sharp. You know, I had him fill out my census form, got back $300. Boy, that is sharp, boy. Oh, he's sharp. You know, I've been thinking about what President Bush has been up to lately. You been following this guy, huh? First, he said he wouldn't eat broccoli, right? Then last week, he flies up to Toronto just to watch a baseball game. This weekend, he's down in Bermuda flying kites. You know, I'm starting to think, hey, maybe Dan Quayle really can handle this job, huh? You know? Sure, yeah. And lately, a lot of people have been accusing President Bush of being indecisive with the Russians. So today, he took a hard line. See that in the news? He gave Gorbachev an ultimatum. He told him flat out, he said, hey, either stay out of Lithuania or go in. Oh. Fool around with him. Oh, remember those Iraqis who went to prison last week for trying to smuggle in that 130-foot gun? That big, giant gun? This week, they tried to escape using a weapon they carved out of 30,000 bars of soap with a penknife. It's kind of a big gun. I'll give you a refund on your ticket. Well, ecology is the big story this week. And, you know, even Exxon is getting behind ecology. In fact, today they announced they're going to postpone their next oil spill until after Earth Day. And I think that's a terrific thing. That's sure. More and more lawsuits are still coming up in conjunction with that oil spill in Alaska. Did you know this? This is true. You know Exxon has pleaded innocent to the oil spill charges? See, they blamed the spill on an act of God. Oh, why not? They already got God doing most of the cleanup, huh? Might as well let him blame them. Yeah, boy. Oh, big atheist crowd, too, now tonight. Well, I bet they got the public relations people working overtime. In fact, just the other day, Exxon said the Alaskan beaches have returned. No, he said they've almost returned to their natural beauty. Yeah, this is from the same people who advertise clean restrooms. Yeah. And a lot of environmentalists have been sending empty beer cans to Congress in hopes of getting them to pass recycling legislation. See, this isn't going to work. If you want to influence congressmen, you got to send them full beer cans. See, that's how you get there. I'll tell you one thing, boy. It pays to be a recording star. You know, James Brown is being released after serving only 6 months of a 6-year sentence. And an unrelated story, today, John Poindexter is taking singing and dancing lessons. So, gosh, maybe he can get out a little bit early, too. Now, here's something. Now, this was in the paper. I swear this is true. In fact, they're having it over on Western Boulevard. See, this in the paper. There was an ad for a charity event that's having Jell-O wrestling to benefit the homeless. Now, if you want to benefit the homeless, why don't you just give them the Jell-O? See, wouldn't that be better off? Do you have to have women sitting in it? Is that going to help? And office buildings all over Los Angeles now are installing video cameras in all the stairways. You see it in the paper today? It's not for security reasons. I guess they figure this way. If someone falls down a flight of stairs, they want to get it on tape so they can send it to America's Funniest Home Videos. See, so maybe make a little go there. Now, here's a strange story. The L.A. County coroner says he's quitting his job amidst complaints that he's not doing a good job. Well, that makes sense. I mean, if you're a coroner and your clients are complaining, boy, you really must not be doing a good job. Boy. Oh, and I read today where the ragu people bought some of those tomato seeds that were in space for 6 years. You know those tomato seeds they had in that experience? Well, ragu bought them. I guess they want them for their new ragu thick and radioactive spaghetti sauce. That's the latest flavor they've come out with. And Christopher Reeve's Superman 4 plagiarism case goes to trial again. Do you know about this? Boy, I guess 2 screenwriters say that Christopher Reeve stole their idea for the last Superman movie. See, let me tell you something. See, if you're a screenwriter and you want to be free of all these lawsuits, you got to write films like Ernest Goes to Jail or Howard the Duck. They don't have to worry about anybody trying to take credit for it. See, that's the thing. Sure, yeah. And in New York City, one of the new Japanese-owned 7-Elevens was robbed last night. They got away with a dozen Twinkies and the deed to Rockefeller Center. Gosh, so... yeah. And 700 Yugos have mysteriously vanished from city streets in the last 3 years. Did you know about this? Well, police have finally solved the mystery. See, what happened was, I guess the owners were parking them on the wrong side of the street during trash day, and the sanitation workers are picking them up by mistake. So that would explain it. Oh, I got stuck behind a freeway accident this morning. It was unbelievable. See, I guess an Amway salesman hit a Jehovah's Witness, and the exchange of driver's license and information took 7 hours. Now, here's something interesting. Officials say traffic in Los Angeles will double in the next 30 years. Well, see, I don't think that's true. See, no, I don't believe that. See, what happens is whenever traffic gets too heavy in L.A., motorists know instinctively to start shooting each other. You see, this is nature's way of thinning out the herd. You see, they instinctively... Yeah. And last but not least, there's a new movie out called Crazy People. It's about folks who paid $7 to see Ernest Goes to Jail. Hey! Big show tonight. A fine actress. Christine Lottie is with us. A terrific comedian, Steve Kelly. A bright young actress, Crystal Bernard. And the Huber Marionettes right here. You don't want to miss any of this.